Canaan Mdletshe is the party Secretary General and joins us live now. I'd suppose, listening to what Mr. Barnes had to say then to Jade, you are not at Olive Conventional Centre. You are simply not taking part in what's going on there.
Good afternoon, Sis Bongi and the viewers at home. Quite correctly, as you can see, I'm at home. It's a holiday today, so yes, I'm relaxing at home.
Why, if I may ask?
Simply because this conference, or the so-called conference that is taking place today, was not organized by the National Executive Committee of the NFP.
So if it wasn't organized by the National Executive Committee, who was it organized by?
That's the question that we're asking ourselves. I think it would be proper perhaps for me to bring background to this so that the listeners can understand where we're coming from.
I'm going to get to that part in just a moment where we give them context, but I just want to know who organized it.
We were not sure. We don't know who organized this conference. That's why we're not even there, because we're not going to be part of something that we are not, we have not organized or arranged as the NEC of the NFP. Okay.
So there's been court processes. There's now letters that have, are saying from yourself suspending the members. There's, also what has been termed factional battles within the party. Briefly tell us and the viewers how we got here.
Thank you, Sis Bongo. I'll be brief as possible. What happened is in 2018, in fact, the two factions of the NFP came together and formed what we called an interim National Executive Committee. And that interim executive committee was given two mandates. One was to prepare the NFP for the 2019 national and provincial elections. And secondly, was to take the party to the internal National Elective Conference. And both those mandates were achieved by this interim NEC, because we participated in the 2019 elections. And also in December 2019, we held a national elective conference where I and other NEC members were elected. So their term of office ceased as soon as we held our conference on the 19th of December. But some of them took us to court after we were elected, and on the 19th of November 2021, Pietermaritzburg High Court Judge Zandile nullified our conference. That was where we were elected in Ulundi. But we appealed that decision, and that's why even Comrade Barnes is speaking about the Supreme Court of Appeal. We are still waiting for that process to take place. We have appealed, we have been granted a leave to appeal, which simply means that the status quo must remain. This, in a layman's language, means that the NEC that was elected, Ulundi, is the legitimate and the only National Executive Committee of the NFP that can arrange and organize conferences. Nobody else. The term of office of the interim NEC ended immediately as we went for the 2019 elective conference in Ulundi. So he says, though, that he's not going to be, responding or taking into account the letters that you sent to them. Firstly, are those letters suspending him and Zandile Myeni legitimate? And now that they say they're not paying attention to them, what do you do? The letters are legitimate, because I'm the Secretary General of the NFP, and the decision to suspend those comrades was taken by the National Executive Committee of the NFP, and it was endorsed by the National Working Committee of the NFP. Therefore, the letters are legit. And if they ignore these letters, well, it is on their peril, because from where we are coming from, legally, we are the only structure that is in charge of the NFP until a decision by the Supreme Court of Appeal. I'm not a legal expert, Sis Lindo, but all I know is that once an appeal has been lodged, it means the decision that is being appealed is suspended. That is why then I'm confident that I am the SG of the NFP. The NEC that was elected in Ulundi is the legitimate NEC of the NFP until such time that the Supreme Court of Appeal rules or judge otherwise. And if they continue to engage, in party activities while they are suspended, there will be consequences of that, because we are not going to have lawlessness within the organization. We must have leaders and members who respect the constitution of the organization, who respect the leadership, but who also respect the code of conduct of the NFP, because we've got a code of conduct in the NFP where all members are expected to respect that code of conduct and to abide by that code of conduct.
So what will the consequences be then? What will the consequences be?
Their suspension has been referred to the National Disciplinary Tribunal, and those are the ones who are going to decide what's going to happen. We expect them to appear before the DC so that they can respond to the allegations that were made against them. And if the disciplinary tribunal finds them guilty, then it is their power to take whatever decision. But from where I'm coming from, we have referred the matter to the NDT for them to act, so that these comrades can be given an opportunity to respond to those letters.
Mr. Mdletshe, while we are speaking and while all these squabbles, as they've been described, continue, there's an IEC deadline that is looming for the party to register and also get its house in order ahead of next year's elections. If you miss that particular deadline, you will not be able to contest the elections. You found yourself in this position before. Is that not a real threat for the NFP right now?
I think, Sisbongo, I must give a brief background on what happened. In 2016, we did not contest, not because of the IEC or leadership squabbles. It was something else totally different from what is happening right now.
But you still had squabbles because
we are going to meet the IEC.
Pardon me, Mr. Mdletshe, you still had squabbles because there were leaders who were supposed to do certain things, they didn't do certain things, and all those processes then led to where you found yourselves in 2016. Again, you are squabbling as a party. There are others who are saying they don't recognize you. Others are saying they are recognizing you. You are saying you are the legitimate one. They say you are not. They want to settle what's going on. These are squabbles in the public domain. So is that not a real threat to you finding yourselves in a position where you're not able to contest elections?
I can assure the listeners and the viewers of SABC right now, Sisbongo, that the NFP is going to contest next year's election.
Okay.
That assurance is, yes, I'm sucking this, but I'm giving you this assurance simply because we are doing everything within our power behind the scenes to make sure that we deal with issues that the IEC has addressed. In fact, yesterday we were even in court on this IEC matter because we want to make sure that we are able to deal with all these issues before the start of next year. And from where I'm coming from, I can assure you that the NFP is going to contest next year's elections unless something else comes up. But if it's the matter that deals with the issues that were raised by the IEC, definitely we are dealing with those issues. And I want to assure the members of the NFP that we are going to participate in next year's elections, come rain or shine.
Will it be one NFP that participates in these elections, or will the NFP that is at the Olive Convention Center participate and yourselves participate? How many NFPs?
There is one National Freedom Party that is existing. There's no many NFPs. There's only one NFP that was established by President Zandile, and that is the National Freedom Party that's going to contest the elections. What is happening now is we see a small grouping of people, because I can tell you now, 95% of NFP members are not part of that meeting that is taking place in the convention center, simply because they don't recognize the people that convened this meeting. I can tell you now, if you can check with some people who are even there, they will tell you that they're not going to even fill the hall that they've occupied, simply because the majority of NFP members are at home. It's a holiday today. People are relaxing. They're in the festive mood because it's a festive season. They are not bothered by what is happening. They're simply because they know that what is happening, there's just a grouping of people, some who are harboring these who are in fact position mongers. They just sit there to try and see themselves leading the party. Unfortunately, it is the membership of the NFP that is going to decide who are their leaders. Even if Sisbongi, this was not an issue, even if there was no appeal processes. You'll recall that we were elected in 2019. Our term of office comes to an end next year. So that tells you then that there are people who are not willing or prepared to be led, but we are going to deal with such individuals because it's only a few people, not all members. And it's very unfortunate that some of them delegates or members of the NFP who are there, they were duped to believe that it was a legitimate conference, and some of them even paid to be there. Even those who are contesting for presidential positions, they had to pay 10,000 rand, which is something bizarre, something we've never heard in a political party where you have to pay 10,000 rand to contest a position. It's something new. Okay,
Mr. Mdletshe, I'm hoping that we speak again during the course of the weekend, because There's clearly a lot going on here, and we are told that there's going to be a new leadership that emerges from that conference. And when we speak again, I hope we then clarify what happens with that particular leadership, and how then do you move as a party from this one, and what do your members then make of what exactly is going on. But let me thank you so much for that update and availing yourself this afternoon just to give us a sense of what exactly is going on here. That is Canaan Mdletshe, NFP General Secretary. In fact, Secretary General. I will continue then, just to monitor developments, even with Jade there, as we understand that that leg of the conference is going to get underway. We don't know what's going on there, but we'll continue to monitor that one.